Welcome, everybody. My name is Mina Marion. I'm here to present my colleague, David Chan, who is going to talk to you about his one-to-one support program. This presentation is called It's All About Students, Student Tech Support Programs, and we're looking forward to having you. So without any further ado, I'm going to present to you David Chan, the Director of Instructional Technology at Evanston Township High School.
All right, thank you very much, Mina. That was Mina Marion. If she didn't introduce herself, she might have, but I got lost there. So my name is David Chan again, and welcome to this Education on Air conference session. This is all about the students, and with me I actually have a couple students. I'll let them show their mugs in just a second, but I'm going to go ahead and share a slide deck, and we'll talk a little bit. And so while I get that going, there is the Q&A portion on the right side. So I noticed as I was watching some of the sessions earlier, we've got people from all across the world. So feel free to not only use that sidebar for questions, but also give shout outs to where you're from. Mina might mention we're from Chicago, Illinois. We're currently teaching at Evanston Township High School. And Evanston, Illinois is just north of Chicago, about 8 miles. It's home to Northwestern University, as well as, of course, ETHS, Evanston Township High School. So without further ado, the slides should be up. There's a short link on the screen as well, goo.gul, capital J, lowercase a, lowercase o, capital J, 6, lowercase d. They will also be available in the session resources link on the EDU website. I will put them there right after this, so don't check just a second. They'll be there in about a half an hour. All right, let's get started. So thank you again for joining us, and I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Again, a little bit about me, Director of Instructional Technology here at ETHS. I'm a Google certified teacher and an authorized Google education trainer. You can reach me at Chinatown on Twitter, and then plus DavidChan77, as well as the website there. I'm part of GEG Chicagoland, so if you're looking for a great place to network and get in touch with community, GEG Chicagoland is one of many, and so you can try to find your GEG in your area as well. All right, so the description here was about one-to-one initiatives. At ETHS, we went one-to-one this year with 800 freshmen, and we know schools have gone with a lot more or a lot less. But the idea here is like, okay, we've got the technology, we've got those Chromebooks in our case, but it could be anything, into the hands of our students. What's next? How do we best support our students? How do we let them support each other? How do we have them learn new skills in technology communication, and then possibly have them encounter new opportunities in their schools and beyond that? So here's the agenda really quick. I want to talk about how we kind of came to this student tech program called the Chrome Zone. We'll talk about a day in the life, and that's where we have our students coming in as well to give you a sense of what the Chrome Zone, which is our Student Tech Support Center, is like. We'll give you actually a tour. I'm broadcasting live from the Chrome Zone, so we'll give you a tour of that Chrome Zone and then take some Q&A after that. Okay. So kind of the central thing, if I were to pick kind of one thing to think about for the session, what's a big takeaway? You know, how do we engage more of our students in something that's authentically interests them? And we can interchange that word with engagement. We can interchange it with empowerment, right? That's a buzzword. You'll see a lot of presentations today on student empowerment. I think that was one of the topics in the category for this one. But even just involving them more. So whatever word you choose, right? It's the idea is we want to get more of our students interested, engaged, involved, and we want them to do so in something that authentically interests them. You know, not just get them in the door, but actually getting them to actually really get involved into it. Make them want to come back every day, make them want to go beyond that, want to learn more about what they're doing. And that's how we kind of structure both one-to-one in our professional development here, as well as the Chrome Zone, the Student Tech Support Center. As I mentioned, we really are focused on everyone. So at ETHS, we have a very diverse population, whether it's socioeconomically and 41% free and reduced lunch, whether it's racial and ethnically with 40% white, 40% black, 10-15% Latino, Hispanic. We are a very diverse school, and yet we want to present this opportunity for everyone. We want Chromebooks, we want devices in the hands of all students, regardless of financial need, regardless of background, regardless of experience with computers. And we also want our students to kind of be involved in all parts of that process. So that's kind of another central theme for this. It wasn't just administrators, it wasn't just the Board of Education kind of promoting this or getting these ideas. It was a lot of students interacting with each other on it. Okay, this is a slide I used in a previous presentation. I really like it. I'm a big baseball fan, and in baseball they have fitted caps, and you also see caps that are one size fits all. So instead of this program being one size fits all, right? You're going to hear about student tech programs all throughout the day or in other sessions or at conferences. It's really the idea is you want to take what you can from each of these presentations and make it into that fitted cap. What fits and what works best for your school, your district, your students, your parents, your community, and take all the pieces that you learn about and apply it to your own school. And that's exactly what we did. We're not the first to think of student tech programs by any means, and neither may these two, but these two schools are ones that are prominent in our areas. Leiden, East Leiden and West Leiden, you heard them a lot, perhaps. I think Jenny McGarren mentioned them yesterday. Jason Markey, Brian Weiner, leaders at Leiden, and they have run this program called their Tech Support Internship, which is a great class. It ties into their student Tech Support Center. It's a great model for what schools want to do and what we want to do here as well at ETHS. Maine was also another school that we visited. We stopped by their Chrome Depot, as they called it. Very catchy name, but the idea, again, students engaging with each other, working together and developing the space for the students to kind of come in and either do repairs, as you'll hear about and see about today with our space, or to learn new things and engage in coursework and curriculum in that space. So again, we're not the first, and neither probably were these two, but we can learn and pick from these programs and apply it to our spaces. We didn't just pick the recipe from Leiden and the recipe from Maine and apply it to ETHS. We took ideas and parts of that recipe and then made it our own. It starts with students, and so the summer before our one-to-one initiative, we had students, both former and current, coming in the summer and helping out. It takes a lot to prepare and develop Chromebooks, 800 of them or 1,000, as well as a lot of our carts in the classroom. So this is a picture of what 1,000 Chromebooks looks like in boxes, and this is what these students did. And one thing it's important to think about is, as we were planning this, the idea of 1,000 devices and how do we set all those up, right, can be very daunting, can be very challenging in the eyes of the adults or the administrators. But if you put the task and you pose it as a challenge to students, you start thinking about, oh, how could we develop a good process for this, right? And then they just take off with it. They go in there, they decide, okay, we need to develop a series of stations, and we decide what each station is going to do, and maybe we suggest certain things, but then they take it, and since they're the one actually doing the work, they make suggestions on how to make it better. So there's your example, right? Really engaging students, really empowering them to decide how this process is going to work, and we're pretty much handing off, right, these 1,000 Chromebooks for you to help get ready for our initiative, and then hand off at our freshman orientation. So speaking of that, right, out of the box and into the wild. So orientation was a 2-day process where, again, same thing. We had students get involved with the design and implementation of orientation. So, we couldn't possibly do it ourselves. We didn't have as much tech staff to handle 800 students and their families coming into our school and giving them the training and the experience that we wanted, that we talked about. And that included having them open up their own box. So our student techs, again, got the devices ready, enrolled them, inventoried them, but then put them back into the box so that our families could have that experience, many of whom was their first time opening a new device, right? So we wanted them to work with these families and not just take out the device and go home, but actually talk with them, make sure they could log in, make sure they knew how to power it down, make sure they knew how to charge it, and do other things with the Chromebooks. And you need an army of students to do that. You couldn't possibly do that with just 3 or 4 tech staff individuals that I know our schools often had. So again, having them be a part of that, but then also having them design that process, right? Getting the ideas and saying after the first session, we have four of these sessions, saying what worked, what didn't, let's readjust, let's modify, right? Let's continue to make it better, and really relying on our student workers and staff to help do that. Which brings me to the next piece, which is our Chrome Zone. How do you support, these 800 devices now in the wild without hiring additional tech staff, right? You could go that route. You could say, all right, we're going to hire a full-time staff employee on your IT team to kind of work through managing these Chromebooks, inventorying them, and supporting them. Or you can kind of push it onto the students and think about how can students help with this process, again, with the design and the execution of these processes. So we have a slogan, we stole it obviously from the Lego movie here. Everything is awesome. And we designed this space, this Chrome Zone, this Student Tech Support Center, to kind of preach that motto, right? Where it's a happy space, it's a collaborative space, it's a vibrant space, and we'll show you what that space looks like in just a little bit. Okay, but first, beyond that, before the tech comes in, before the repairs come in, we don't need necessarily students that are just involved with technical expertise or have experience repairing devices or like that. We need people who have communication skills, have customer service skills. And we really preach that here at the Chrome Zone, our Tech Support Center, is that it's people first, then tech second, right? It's when the student walks in that door, how are they greeted? How are they, how are they felt? How they feel like when they come into this space? And I think that's another important skill that, we may or may not be able to teach everyone, beforehand, but as they come in, as they start working and we work with them, they develop those skills. That not everyone comes in with those people skills, those soft skills, but that's something we work with them. That's another bonus. That's another piece that we kind of add to this experience. So again, working with students and having students work with students and working with them as they do that. So on this screen, we have a lot of questions that, again, administrators, adults had as they were thinking about this project. And these are questions you will have. But again, the idea is to plan and prep as much as possible, and we did that. But at the same time, you're not going to have all the answers to all the questions. So again, we did the best we could to talk about loaners, how we're going to approach that, warranty claims, insurance repairs, all this stuff. And this is in a separate presentation. We can share that out later. But for this session, these are the questions that are going to be different for each school, and the answers are going to be different. And this is where you develop that fitted cap program for your school, because some things may work well for you that didn't work well for us. But these are the questions that you start asking, but understand that it's okay not to have all the answers in the beginning, because it's okay to fly by the seat of your pants, as we see here. So on this wall, this picture shows a ticket system that we used that wasn't there on the day one. This was a student idea, and I'll have the students explain it as they do their kind of mock through. But basically, when they come in to do repair slips, they needed a way to track that, and we didn't have a good way to kind of visually see all the repair slips in our center. So they had the idea of having this this restaurant ticket taker rack. This was like $10 on restaurantsupply.com or something like that. They had the idea, they pitched it to us. We said, great idea, let's do it. And within a couple of days, we made that happen. So a lot of examples of that, whether it's in the Chrome Zone, whether it's the one-to-one initiative, or whether it's orientation, student ideas being put to action. All right, so that's basically in a nutshell, kind of the development of the Chrome Zone. I'm actually going to turn it to our students to talk a little bit about a day in the life. So kind of do a little mock run through, if you will, on what the Chrome techs do, as well as give you a little tour inside the Chrome Zone. And then I'll come back to close it out. But let me make sure everything's okay here. All right, so I'm going to throw it to Jacob. Ready? All right, so I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to throw Jacob on, and he's one of our student Chrome techs. And everyone else, introduce yourselves. We got 3 here. All right.
I'm Jacob Dalton. I'm a freshman here at ETHS, and I've been in the Chrome Zone. This is my first year. This is my first year in here.
I'm Juan Cannon. I work IT at ETHS, and this is my first year working in the Chrome Zone. I'm Chrome Tech, and glad to be here.
All right, so, and you want to introduce yourself, David?
Oh, I'm David. I'm also a junior, and I'm just here helping out the Chrome Zone.
All right, thanks, guys. So what are we going to see here?
Well, we're going to see Juan here is going to show you a repair of a Chromebook, which is our C720, which is, we have 2,066 of them issued to students. And then we're going to show a C7 being checked out by a student.
All right, there we go. So David's playing the role of a student today, coming into the Chrome Zone.
Hey guys,
Hi, how can I help?
so I'm having a bit of a problem. My screen for my Chromebook is pretty messed up, and I need some assistance.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it to Juan. He's going to repair the screen. And I'm going to have you fill out one of these slips for me.
All right.
And so what the student does is fill out a loaner slip, and Jacob's checking out a loaner.
Which is a C7 Chromebook.
And we have an inventory app that you're not be able to see as well, but that
there you go. It's hard to see that on the screen, but has all of our inventory. He's able to then assign it to the student. And once he gets his name on the slip, he'll be able to enter that into the system.
Oh.
And then David will get his loaner for the day. And Jacob, do you want to show the ticket rack? And I'll take it to Juan, right?
Yes. Okay, here you go.
All right, thank you.
Have a good day. So, as Mr. Chan said, these were actually, I guess we introduced them, students introduced them. They're actually for orders for restaurants, but we kind of customized them so we can put our loaner sheets in here. And as you see, we just put one in. So every Chromebook that we check out, we put on here. Overdue, we put right there that we let them check it out for a 24-hour period. And if they don't bring it back by the next morning, we email, call, or text them using Google Voice. But more about the Chromebooks. This is actually only one of our cards, but these are our short-term loaners. So again, 24 hours. We have charging, which are down here. And this is actually what we call a Samsung loaner. We only have a few of these that are for student checkout. The rest are for programs here at the school. But these are the C7s, which I just checked out to David. And yeah, we have C7 screens. We can actually fix these here because we do not have insurance on these. We fix these for ourselves. It's just better learning. But yeah, now I'm going to take you over to Juan, who's actually doing a Chromebook repair.
All right.
So as we can see, I'll show you in a bit. So as you can see, this is our most common problem with the Chromebooks, is that a lot of students break their own screens. So what we do generally, this is maybe a 3 or 4 times a week occurrence. So we have to repair these probably every day of the week. So what we do is we take off the case and we just unscrew the screen off and replace it ourselves. It's much faster than any other, thing you can do.
How long does it take you to do a screen nowadays, guys?
Just about 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Okay.
It's totally worth the students' time.
And then what do we charge for the students?
We charge 30.
Or some price book? Do we charge it for labor?
No, sadly.
So we charge them just for the part. We get the parts and we pass that cost along to the students. What do we got around here in that station as one tidying that up?
Well, this is what we call our I guess repair docks. We have 3 docks, but we really only use the center one.
Kind of getting organized a little bit with the parts, right?
Yes. You see, we've got tons of boxes of parts. We've got 1, 2, and then 1 off camera down here that you can't see.
What's going on with the certifications up there?
Yeah, these are our Google certifications that we all get when we come here. Mine is actually not up here.
Oh, no.
But you'll see, I mean, there's every student worker has one.
And that's just the basic skills exam, right?
Yeah, that's the basic Google skills exam. And we really just come in during our free periods to work in here and get extra, or not extra credit,
Community service hours.
community service hours. So back to Juan with screen repair.
Finishing up that screen one.
So I'm just about done scrolling the new screen. And it's just about done.
It's all right.
Sometimes
Take
the
your time.
screens like to be a little stubborn, but for the most part, they work out.
And we're at parts from various places. The repair kits are from iFixit. We got those mats. You guys like those magnetic mats? Keep the screws down.
Oh yeah, I love those things.
And the lamps for good vision. All right, moment of truth. Winner,
There
winner.
you go.
Nice.
You see the broken screen.
Oh yeah, they love doing that, right?
Still.
See that, see through that. Cool. All right, how about the loaner carts as we wheel around a little bit? You want to talk briefly about that and the white wall?
Well, I did say the 24-hour Chromebooks are what we call our short-term loaners. But if we need to send something out for an insurance claim, because you can buy insurance through us, it can take upwards of 3 weeks. So we have what we call long-term learners, that they are C720s, which is the same one that we check out to students. And I mean, there's nothing really special about it, but they can hold this and charge this at their house.
And what else do we use those carts for?
We also use these for charging. If somebody leaves their charger at home or forgets to charge it, we can charge it on this side. For example, we actually don't have any charging in here right now.
There you go. That's good. That means the students got them all. All right. As we rotate around, you can see we have beanbag chairs. We've got a screen which is displaying our timer. Right. Everything is awesome. Do you guys have any other words of wisdom or anything we missed to part on people? How's been your experience? We can gather around the table a little bit. How has your experience been just this past year and hanging out in the Chrome Zone during summer? Are you gonna do it again next year?
Yeah.
Things like that.
Well, I plan on hopefully signing up for an externship next year. And this is a career that, I mean, it's definitely worth looking into, and a Chrome Zone is definitely good looking on a college application.
Like I said, I work IT here, so I'll be working in all summers, and I love the experience. You know, the Chrome Zone really causes, you know, for us to band together as a family. You know, people that I wouldn't know, like for say Jacob, I wouldn't know him if I wasn't working in the Chrome Zone, and good friend to have. And it's a good community. It's really community based, so it's a great experience.
I agree with Juan because he actually introduced me to the Chromebook Zone, and I feel like it's a really like community based like environment. Like I've been coming here for community service and everything, so I really like it.
All right, so I'm gonna take it back over here. We actually have a tour group coming in, but I don't want to get them on screen. All right, there we go. So I'm back. We've got about a couple minutes remaining. First, I want to thank the students here, Juan, Jacob, David, for jumping. Go Hawks! All right, that's fair. And really for joining us on a Saturday morning, taking time out of their schedule to be here and to talk about the Chrome Zone. I want to thank you all for watching. I have a couple quick questions, and feel free to pepper more questions into the Q&A. And that's a little, there's a button on the left that says Q&A, or no, there's an apps, I think, the waffle, the 9 square icon. Click on that, click on Q&A, and submit questions or just quick shout outs. One question we've got is, what kind of training do you offer for your students, and is it available to other schools? So Jacob just brought up, he mentioned the Google certification, Google Basic Skills exam. There's a lot of online training we point to our students that already exists. We developed a couple courses when students got their Chromebooks, kind of a meet the Chromebook piece, which we can share out. It's more self-guided. During orientation, we had them play around with the Chromebook, ask questions with our students that were available. Technically, it's available in schools because we just, kind of curated a lot of resources and posted them online. So that's training. Now, that being said, I think one thing we're going to do differently this year or expand on is some parent training. We got a lot of feedback from parent groups and just how it'd be nice to kind of have a session, some discussion, panels. We're actually going to start working with Common Sense Media. We're working with our feeder district, District 65, to kind of develop this curriculum that goes from grades 3 to 12 or even K to 12 about digital citizenship, copyright, you name it. We're gonna invest in the time and some energy to kind of really put that into that curriculum and have it be a unified, vertically aligned experience for all of our students as much as we can. So I hope that answers that question. And again, we're going to share this slide deck. I'm going to share it in the resources pretty shortly after this. I have to go moderate my colleague's presentation in just about 3 minutes. So if there are any other questions for me or the students, feel free to post those in there. And if not, again, I'll put my contact information up. And if you have any questions or want to reach out, feel free to do so. Let me close out one other thing too. That is, let me screen share out. Okay, that is the fact that we are next year having a course at ETHS, a writing tech support internship. We're calling it information technology internship, same kind of thing. Working in the Chrome Zone, getting credit as part of CTE as an elective course, having an honors level option, having also tying it in for us at least to consumer education, consumer finance, as well as other courses to kind of build capacity, capacity for staffing the Chrome Zone, and also opening up new opportunities. What these guys may not mention is that they're doing it the grace of their heart and for community service hours and really just volunteering. I think you guys maxed out community service hours like the first week. I think you guys are there, like Juan said, they liked it, enjoyed it, built sense of community. But what we're doing as well is we're having that course to kind of give people credit as well. So, that being said, that's in play for next year. We're excited about that. 2 sections and 50% students each semester, but still going to need students for community service hours and volunteering to help in the Chrome Zone. So, all right. That being said, if there are any other questions, I'll hang around for another minute or so. Otherwise, I'm going to end the broadcast again. The recording will be available if you joined us a little late, and I will also post the session resources again online. You can get it at that short URL as well. Oh, that's not the right one. Back in time. All right, that's my contact information again, at ChanTown on Twitter, plus DavidChan77, davidschan.com. And then lastly, the short link for the presentation. So again, thank you so much for joining us. Any other questions, feel free to throw it in there. Don't think I see anyone else though, but if there are any, I'll be happy to answer them. And then I'm going to pop out and join me for the next session, which is Mina Marion giving effective professional development for one-to-one. So again, if you're having Chromebooks and you're interested in training, as the gentleman asked that question about training for teachers and staff and innovative ways of doing that training, I encourage you to join that session. That's at 11 o'clock, so in about 1 minute. Mina Marion, I think it's under, I forget, you'll have to look around. Maybe administrators, maybe educators. So check that out. And thanks again for joining us.